using a 700-year-old technique called Raku, and it's known for its unpredictability, and yeah, and here in our workshop a lot is very unpredictable and free, I would say. And
today we would like to show you our company and how a ceramic tile is made. We are a small manufacturing company with direct selling. We do all our designs ourselves, the producing and the selling, the distribution. And me and Sebastian know each other a very long time, since we are 15 years old, yeah, something like 14, this. 15. And basic theme we always discussed around was how much order is needed there to be chaos, and we think it's also in our ceramic tiles.
Yes, so although you could say we are only producing tiles for use cases, for in bathrooms or in entrances, stoves, but for us it's also quite a philosophical topic, and it's actually quite surprising how much about life, like a microcosmos of life, is inside our tiles, or at least we see it in there. And it's, as Thomas said, like this balance between chaos and order. Too much order is tyranny, death, and too much chaos is nothingness and also death. But in between there is, like, for us, this belief there, the life can flourish, and this is something that is in the whole production. We try to really find this sweet spot between function, that it works, like the structure that has to work, and the freedom that so the product can also surprise us.
And a little bit where you are in a 1880 built factory with for textiles, and we were very lucky to can build up our workshop in this very beautiful rooms of this old company. We believe some ghosts still live here with us.
Yeah, actually we have in our tiles, through the Raku process, a lot of life or details comes into the tile, and also this room has like a lot of patina, like 150 years of people doing things, and we consciously, when we moved here, didn't remove the traces and went the opposite way, and we embraced it because, and like to our humble opinion, we want to attitude, we want to add on top of these layers of traces into this building.
Also, what you would see afterwards, we very much believe that every single step is crucial in the production for the final result of the ceramic tile, and we believe that very often I tell the people the ceramic tile, the made tile, is what we live from, but to produce that, this is our life. So
it's like our philosophy materialized into form, and
probably we will show you the first steps of the ceramic tile.
Yeah. Maybe we're not sure how good the video quality is, so but we make a little turn around here, and this is our office. It's actually showroom and office. We have here like our finished tiles. There are a lot of them, a lot of possibilities. We have a collection with which is maybe and for us quite nice because we have the screens on the back side. We made this shading out of ceramic. Yeah, I'm not sure if we can call it tiles. Maybe it's already bricks, just to get a sense of it. And yeah, because we are not the orderly type, this is our office, which is conveniently hidden between this wall of flowers. And yeah, and then this from our office or showroom or like living space, you get into the production space. This is where the whole thing starts. It's our press, and our base material is actually basically clay, very white clay without iron that colors it red. And this is important for us because we work with transparent glazes, which then play with the underground. Like you get little details, and to get the bright colors we want, we need basically a white underground. And also something rather, I think, unusual is that we don't use the clay which is used for pottery, like which you can model. Yeah, we use only 11% of water and a lot of chamot. And so it has this quality, it's earth, and it has to, you have to be able to bring it into form with a lot of pressure, but it shouldn't stick on your hand. And this has for us a lot of conveniences. Like one is maybe the most important for us is we get this earthy structure and this earthy feel to it, but it's also nice that they come out after pressing. They are already in a state where we can retouch them and work on the edges, and with the drying we have less problems of them bending any way we don't want.
We like the feel of pressed earth. So ceramic is a very, very old material. We use ceramic for, I don't know, at least 20,000 years to build things. And we very much like this earthy, the pressed earth with these very nice ornaments.
Yeah, especially because nowadays ceramics, or especially ceramic tiles, tries to be a lot of things except for fired earth. Like you get wooden floors, which are good to clean, or you get 100-year-old cement tiles, which have a lot of patina, but they will never change. And we think actually, the poetic quality of just fired earth and fire is something that is so deeply connected with us.
And it's also a very real material. We like the honesty of the material, to just leave it as it is, and it has enough of power to show its qualities. And we were joking the last half of a year because Sebastian was saying when he was 16 years old, there will come a time when the computer games will look like the real life. Now we are joking about that the real life now looks more than a computer game than real life, because they use the ceramic tiles, and as Sebastian said,
they print the texture on it and it repeats.
And just like drag and drop some surfaces onto the base material, and so we like to have the base material as pure.
Yeah, and actually, yeah, and I think also like a word that comes to mind in this regard is like really to have some realness, like objects that are through the whole object real. It's like just fired earth, you could say, as industrial tile is also real, but it's the same material if there is on top of it wooden texture or any other
marble
or maybe a vintage tile, something. And so yeah, we just want to have this. We believe also that you feel if something is real and has like these little irregularities, and this quality of life in it. Yeah.
So what we are doing with this material, we press it in the press. You can see there
in the back.
It's very loud, so we won't turn it on. But we pressed one ceramic tile, and it looks like this. It has very sharp edges, and the front surface is not a little bit rough. So I will show you how
we do the next step.
So what we are doing is we smoothen the edges with a stone and then with a piece of leather. This is the back side of the ceramic tile. And after this is finished, we put a stamp on it. And what's very important for us is to not get rid of the steps involved to produce a tile, because the industry is always looking for more efficiency in producing something. And for example, with this, you could put it in the press form with little cost, but you will remove one more step out of the production. And we think with every step you remove also a little bit of life out of the ceramic tile. So in the front is a little bit more work to do. So first we also smoothen the edges with a piece of leather and stone. And after that we have to polish the whole surface to get a very smooth feel to it.
Yeah, because we only as you will see later, we only glaze partially. So parts like it's like a half glazed tile and half terracotta tile in the end, and they will have this matte and glossy finish. And so it's really important for us that the part which is still like basically earth feels really nice and smooth when you go, like, I don't know, barefoot over it, or maybe you stroke it. And yes, and that's one thing we also quite like, actually, because we like this balance between the tile is quite precise on one side. Like we like to have some clarity in the geometry and in the form, but at the same time, like to have this subtle aura of the traces of the handiwork that you just feel when you have it in the hand. And
afterwards, it is polished, and the surfaces, the edges are smooth, and then we put them to dry for at least 1 week. They just dry on the fresh air on these wagons, and then there will be the first firing. The first firing is around 1000 degrees, and then you have the ceramic body.
Yeah. And on these tiles, we usually produce like we produce only like after order. We don't have anything on stock. The only thing we have on stock or we produce on stock is are the raw tiles, unglazed, and as you can see here, is in the back is our lager, storage. Yeah, you see here there are like we have in this different compartments. We store like only white, regular, like unglazed tiles. And if someone orders, and we have like in our collection, we have like I don't know, roughly around 3,500 different possibilities of combinations. So then, if someone orders, and maybe this is also quite an important thing to note, we have like a minimum order quantity of 1 piece, because especially with the Raku-firing, which you will see later, is the thing that each tile really becomes its unique single piece. And so we just think, and also a lot of people order just like 1 or 3 tiles for as a cup holder, or
on the kitchen table, where you can put the hot pots on it, or things like that. We have 1 piece, and we also thought it's a nice idea. You can buy a lot of single pieces and lay a whole floor.
Yeah, and it's like it's a nice. It's like a flowery meadow. It's also each flower is unique, but it's like in the whole is like nice carpet. Okay, so let's go to the printing. Maybe the colors first, huh? The glaze, yes. Here you see like our kitchen, where we do the glaze.
And the glaze is basically grinded glass. It's like floor.
Yeah.
In the end. And to color glass, you need to have metal oxides. You cannot use normal or pigments which are not, they don't.
Yeah, it has to be like pigments for ceramics, but we use a lot of we like to use actually a lot of metal oxides, which are really, especially in the Raku-firing, they are not so predictable, and they have like its own life. While the ceramic pigments, they are like mostly used also from the industry. We also do use them sometimes because it's easier to get to a color we like, which a client maybe would like, but they are often they lack life. And this is Thomas just brought a very nice example of because the glass powder Thomas just showed is actually a recipe which is like comes from my mother, and she's a ceramic artist herself, and she had it from a book that is 150 years old. And the interesting thing is that it does not always do the things that are expected with these industrial pigments. For instance, here, this color here, this should be castanian, like chestnut brown, but obviously it's not chestnut brown. And then we had like a lot of headaches because we didn't get to this brown that our client wanted. And then later we tried an industrial base glaze where we put this chestnut brown pigment in, and it comes out like this. And maybe I'm not sure if you see it from the quality, but you see there is a lot less life in the industrial glaze, and compared to our glaze, which makes life sometimes harder, but the more beautiful we think. So this, in the end, became our olive green glaze because it's more greenish and nice. So yeah.
And the thing to print on the ceramic tiles is screen printing. We have these screens made for us. It's also an old technique, but very useful and very easy.
It's quite common for a lot of things to print, and for us is also because we work mainly with, or actually only with ornaments that are like have only one color. We then print this on it. So here Thomas will show how a tile is printed. This is our mixed glaze already with some with a liquid, which makes this powder printable. And we basically just push the powder through the screen, and in the end, it's maybe
you will have the screen printed glass on the ceramic tile.
And what's just the glass?
This is turquoise.
Turquoise. Okay, and in the end, maybe just for now, that in the end, the color of this tile will be like this. And now you might be wondering, maybe if you don't know Raku, why is this tile black when the first one was white? And this is actually the next step we're gonna show you. So this is our like in between our office. It's like we have like a show kitchen where people who are visiting can see how we are cooking our tiles. And this is our furnace. This furnace was actually here since 150 years, and was used for blacksmiths. He used it to repair machines in his factory, and we could like refurbish it for our use case for the Raku-firing. And basically, what's happening with Raku-firing is we have here our little kiln, which is used for experiments, mainly filled with
glazed ceramic tiles.
Yeah.
And it's 840 degrees hot inside. Maybe you open it very quickly. And you can see this is glowing. And what we will do is take out one very hot ceramic tile and then put it into sawdust. And this is called the Raku-firing. So this is glowing.
It's still white. And what is happening here? This technique is 700 years old, and basically what it does, or what it needs for this technique to work, we need a reduction atmosphere, which we achieve by covering it in sawdust, so the oxygen disappears through the burning, and through the burning of the sawdust, the carbon gets sucked into the tile and colors it black, and the glaze reacts in all different kinds of ways, depending also on which glaze it is.
Yes. So because the carbon always wants to make connections with the metal oxides in the glazes, and it will have these chaotic, uncontrollable effects. I think Raku, like Sebastian said, is a very old technique, and in Japanese it means something like joy. Something like that. Yeah, it's a different word.
It comes out of the Zen Buddhism, and it's actually quite fitting also because, you're like literally forced to let go of the fixed outcome. So you have to take it however it comes.
We're always very careful about this. We want to walk this edge between this chaos and this very nice, on the point, made our screen printed patterns, which the Raku-firing process also diffuses a little bit.
Populates with life.
What will happen now, I will take this ceramic tile out of the...
Our special effects are coming. And
now they go into the water. The very hard business, children love it to watch.
yeah, and so here the special effects from up close. Yeah, and what's happening here is because the carbon gets into the tile in this when it's on this around 800-900 degrees, and it would leave the tile again if we would just put it out, and the oxygen would let oxygen on it to it. So we flash cool it in the water to keep the carbon in the tile. Still quite hot. So here you see it's already black. So after we put into the water, we take them out, and as you can maybe see here, it's maybe I have to get closer. It has a lot of interesting colors. It will change still. I'm not sure which glaze it is. Okay. This is our blueberry glaze, which will, after washing for a while, this can take actually sometimes quite long, we will get a nice reddish blueberry blue. Oh yes, and this is maybe also a good place to say. Probably you don't see it so well in this video, but in high definition, very pictures we have on our website, where you can see most of our tiles in photographed. High definition, yes. Yeah, so that is basically the Raku-firing. yeah, after we wash them, which can depending on the glaze, especially copper glazes, we have to wash for sometimes an hour or two. So later, maybe I will get
We'll see how this color changes after time.
This is like a blueberry, how it can come out in the end. This is actually a very unpredictable glaze. There is a lot of these reddish parts, and but still has like this blue, which is quite kind of like modern, and so we have a very interesting tension between old and new, I would say. So yeah, I would say maybe we show some finished tiles. So we have some prepared. Actually, when we are finished with the washing, we let them dry, usually for two days, and after that, when we know they're dry, we put wax on them, a natural wax, Canauber wax, and we then pack them in like these boxes and ship them all over the world. Actually, I think the farthest client we had was a family in Tasmania. They saw our tiles in the internet and they just fell in love with it, that they wanted it no matter what. So yeah, you see, like, this is our red, if you like red, but also maybe this is also something that that needs to be explained. All these black ones, they are like Raku-fired, and the white ones that stay white, they are actually only fired, and then we cool them off still in the kiln, and take them out when they're cold again. So this is actually quite a regular firing. But some people don't want to have too much black in their homes, so we also do them, especially with like more subtle colors, and yeah. And yeah, so I don't know if there are any questions, or I could also show you maybe our here. Maybe we put this here. This was from the old factory. These were like the lockers. And we use the lockers to store our use them to store our tiles, like the samples we have, and also like our color samples are like if you do any experiments, we have it. Yeah.
Sounds very interesting. Ceramic is a very wide field. You showed the material. So you can see very different color variations of the ceramic itself, and this opens up a whole new dimension.
Yeah, especially because this is also something we are like right now experimenting with, with textures, three-dimensional textures, and then we like to combine it with our raw earthy material. Like to get this, basically to get earth to shine. Yeah, it's more for like stoves on the wall.
Yeah, we hope the quality is all right, but it's much more nice to see in real life.
Yes, maybe for more for better pictures, you go best on our website KARAK.at, where you find all the all our whole collection and what we do. And if you want to see really all what we do, is the best to just write us and ask for a tour live here in our workshop in Turitz.
Yes, that's always a very nice. It's worth the trip actually. Here are also some colors, different colors of the clay. We have 5 now, 5 different colors.
This more classical red, brick red.
We also very much like to make details like this. It's a ceramic tile, so you don't have to cut if you want to go around the corner, you don't have to cut it and make a grout.
Like for like in case of a stair, we used it in the stair, but also we used it on stoves. Like, yeah, and actually people like it a lot nowadays to use our tiles for.
And it means that you can
for a firing place. So because especially with the Raku, it just goes hand in hand. The process which you already saw involves a lot of fire, and so it's fitting. And maybe, but what you also don't really see on the video is like the black is a really nice one from the Raku. It has like this silver anthracite, silver carbony shine to it, and which we believe is you're not able to replicate. And actually, I remember once we went on a ceramic technology fair, and asked their people for. This was just in the beginning where we didn't know if this would become a company, and we asked people how they would make a tile like this, and he said, "Oh, that's easy. You just print it digitally." And then we thought, but then each tile will look the same. And he said, "Oh, yes, it's true. But then you just print 3, and so nobody will notice." And
now they got quite advanced with this printing technique, but still, we believe that you always will see a difference between a printed ceramic tile or a
definitely
handmade ceramic tile, because it's not only the printing, it's every detail which comes with every step in the production.
Yeah, it's like analog or digital. You have like in analog you have just like infinite resolution, and in digital you have to scale down the resolution. So it's not possible to not have information lost. And I think the most important information for our well-being is probably in this like infinity in the small details. Like this is what we might not like consciously perceive, but very well like feel when we have it at home. And we are able. I think we as humans are very well capable to feel if something is fake or real.
It's very hard to put the finger on it, I think, which is what is the realness. But also I think in music it's the same. We have a very nice, deep, inner feeling that we can truly understand deep things. And I think it's with our visual vision, with our visual, with our eyes, we can see much more there is than the pure function of an object. And I think we as human don't as much go for functionality or as much as for the feeling we get out of things. And this feeling is also the truth. Also, maybe we cannot put our finger on it, but we feel it.
Yeah, and I think there is a big difference between it looks like or it is. Like it looks like a ceramic, like a raku. It looks like a raku-tile, but it is a raku-tile. It's just, I think, something that is
two different universe.
Yeah.
So maybe we can talk a little bit about the patterns.
The patterns. Yeah. Okay. Of course. Maybe on this one, huh?
Yes.
Or, yeah. The patterns are also. Maybe I think the patterns are. Yes, we're losing the. Hello.
Perfect. Works.
Okay, works.
Yeah.
Okay. I have to go down. So this one. Okay. This is one of our tiles. One of our patterns that is actually quite old for us. We have it like since 14 years, and actually it is. I'm not sure if you already see it, but it's actually a three-dimensional idea put on a two-dimensional tile, and basically it's an orthogonal cube where you subtract a circle from it, and then we make it like an impossible form to make it more. I don't know.
Here you can see maybe the idea cube, but what we also did is these two ends. One should be at the back of the cube, but both are in front, which gives it a lot of dynamic. And also, what Sebi did is these small edges, which will make it seem like a net.
Yeah, exactly. Because the interesting thing is like then you have like here is it's actually the same symbol that is derived from this cube. I hope you see the cube. But then if you take only the negative, like the holes from this, where you see through it, you get like these leaves, I don't know, or this shape, and you still have like we are still through these lines, we get like this interconnectedness from separate parts, and actually this is kind of a theme we have in our formal language. It's like this different layers connecting to each other, not being clear. Is this like, are these leaves lying on top of something, or are these like holes inside of a mesh? And this is like a actually kind of a classical pattern. I think everyone knows it, and we just added here with these with these small lines, which actually in the Raku-firing get a lot of times very nice, this reddish color, and so we get like this depth, and it becomes like if you concentrate on the black parts, it becomes a net. And so this is actually something we really like to play a lot with. This like to in the end, the main thing we would like to achieve is something is a pattern that lets you be, but which you still can get lost in, and that's not getting tired, where you not get tired of looking at it, because it's kind of constantly changing, because it's not definite. You cannot say, is this a cube, or are these leaves with some lines in it? And so this makes it, I think, interesting, and after 14 years, we still love looking at it. So, yeah, and maybe it's also quite interesting to see. You see the same. It's the same with a different color. So we have all these. This is like how our collection is constructed. We have like our colors we like our blueberry and our white, like ivory white, and then you can like choose. I would like to have this pattern in this color, or we have it also like in moss. Moss, yeah. But here's the same one in like with our ocean blue. It's kind of an indigo, and yeah, you see maybe. On the website, you see how they go together. You can actually on our website try all this pattern, these different color variations, and you will, yeah, it's a lot there to play.
Very cool. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Are there any questions?
I do have some questions though. First question, and you already talked about it actually, is. I mean, we already heard about a little bit of your opinion, what like objects, or in this case tiles, have different kind of characters if they are handmade or industrial made. So we already had a talk here during one event about exactly this topic, and it's interesting because my question is, what do you think? Is it negotiable, or is it a kind of a bilateral relationship between craft and industry? And how do you think it will develop in the future?
I'm not sure. Maybe I'm not sure 100% sure about Thomas. Maybe I have a more radical view about this. I'm less and less. The longer I'm in this journey, the less I am willing to make any compromises. And I think actually, if it's about generating life in a thing, and I believe a tile can have life, like not biological life, but like the quality that you could call life, like which like resonates with you, to generate, to get this into a tile. I think it's the industrial process is just, I think it's not suited for this, because it's mechanical, and it's like actually kind of the antithesis to life, like, which is more like springs out of chaos, kind of like it's like this lush unpredictability, and yeah.
I also believe there is something more to it than the finished product. So the industry is just for the finished product and optimizes all the way through. So, and a lot of life will get lost in it. And even if it's just the workers' duty, how the work looks like, how you are producing something. If you can accept that this doesn't mean anything to the product, then maybe you can have the thesis, okay, it doesn't matter, but if you believe that the process, how something is done, has its own value, which adds to the ceramic tile, you cannot make the point that it's even in the same universe, how you produce things.
I think it's also like what we said earlier about like this, the high definition. If the resolution of the industry will always only go so far till it looks like it, and I believe like to really have like, and to have all these small details, like you probably don't see it on the screen, because on the screen it's not the tile, it's like only a copy of the tile, visual. But you if you have it in the hand, you just feel like all these small subtle details where people were touching it, and I feel this radiates. And also with also the industry is always looking for for predictability. They don't want glazes to react unpredictable, because it's like only a headache to them. They want to have the total control over the process, and then they add what they might call live optics, some effects or something on it, but always like in the bounds of the process of their control.
I have another question also about your patterns. So, who kind of is the designer in your institution? Do you have one, or do you co-create, or where is the inspiration taken?
Sebastian is, I would say, the head designer of the pattern. He's like a virtuoso, seeing these lines in the patterns.
Yeah, it's just something I always loved to do. It's just something I do like kind of as a meditation, doodling, and also there is but also often like it's most of the times it starts with a doodle, then we talk about it, and then it needs to get some, like, you could say a patina. It needs to have time. So after, because if you work with symmetries and you mirror something, your brain is immediately says, "Oh, amazing!" but you need to have like patina. You have to wait and look 3 months or 3 weeks later on it with a fresh mind, and to be able to see something different, because you're in a different state of mind, and then you see something different, and then you add onto it, or you subtract something, and so I think the best of our patterns they happened in a span of 1 year or even longer, and sometimes it's a pattern where we are not sure if we like it, and then at some point and so we have it like only like made one tile, and then a client comes and the client loves it, and then okay, yeah, we can do it, and then at some point when we see it like in the wild, we then think, oh yes, this is actually quite an interesting and nice pattern. So
I also think designing in our company is also more a journey than a job in this way. When I look for the pattern designers in a big company, they make 10 patterns a day. They have to design 10 patterns a day.
Exactly.
And I think very often me and Sebastian know each other a very long time, and I like this picture of crafts itself. It's how you make the most precise movement with your hand. It's when the other hand presses against this hand, and you have something in your hand, and then you can move very, very precisely. So I think also the whole company is something like this. It's everything presses against each different thing, and it moves quite nicely, we believe.
We also definitely don't believe like in having like yearly collections which we release, and now the new KARAK collection is here, because actually it's if you really believe in something like timeless beauty, then you don't it's kind of absurd to think to be able to put the emergence of beauty into a schedule. So and actually if you really are looking for to create or to bring beauty into this world, it's more like an exploration, and then you have to, and if you're exploring something or research, then it's something that might appear, but it's not something you can like plan. It's also kind of
beautiful.
Yeah.
The other thing is also the inspiration for this technique. Where does it come from?
Actually, from Sebastian's mother.
Yeah.
She was a ceramic artist very long time.
Yeah. She worked her whole life as a ceramic artist, and she see if we have something reachable from her. Maybe on the top you see some vases.
Oh yes.
There. Yeah. And she did lots of like sculptures and vases and did some exhibitions. She did lots of with earthy structures, and then with or like this is actually quite nice. This is it's not glazed. This is actually only polished clay and then fired black fired, like kind of like raku, but inside the kiln, and it has like this really shiny surface. Yeah. So this and then when my parents built their house, my mother wanted to have they wanted to create tiles for their house, and she wanted to use a raku technique. And when she was searching for patterns, she knew that I like to draw patterns. So this actually kind of fell everything into place. So, and then we experimented with it and tried with screen printing, and actually never had the intention to create a company. But with the house then being built and then being published, and lots of people were talking about this house, the house with the tiles, and they were asking where do you get these tiles from? And this was 2007, 2008, and where right when like the iPhone came out, and it was like peak technological euphoria, and we had everything had to be shiny, and everything was more technical kind of. And then at that point, this tile was like a really strong contrast, and people really like resonated a lot with it. And for us, then really they became the really like this question emerged. What does this mean? Why is this like this reaction so strong? And so this our philosophical endeavor and creating of this company started.
I also very much like that we don't go into the design directly. We design also the surrounding, what does things mean, and like a philosophical guideline for us. And then, like Sebastian said, out of this idea, products emerge in a way.
Yeah.
One has a good idea, he pitches it to each other or whatever, and then you dig deeper and deeper and deeper. And I quite like this a lot about this company, that it's not sort of on a stone. What could you do?
Or not with like market research in the back, which probably in the end we also only produce like something with optics, because people like vintage now, and so now we produce something with vintage optics, but the material is still the same, even if you would do, I don't know, any other style you would think people want.
Yes, this was not asked someone what they want, and I think it's very often a very interesting way to find out about the things you're doing, actually. And not get forced.
I do have another question from a friend. She came across your website, and she was curious about if you have some craftspeople which you got the training, or how did you figure out your way to do the raku, and also working with the materials, earth in itself. Did you try that out by yourself, or did you have help? Or
how we got this knowledge? Is this the question? Yeah, I think mainly from my mother and my parents. Like because my parents both are ceramic artists, and so
I think it's very good to explain, like if you have two musicians and they show you how a guitar works and how you can play, and then you play along, and we learned a lot. Autodidact, and you always had the bases were laid by.
They told us that if you ask how do we do this and how can we do this, and they told us, sometimes we didn't believe we did, and sometimes we messed up, and then we learned and then we sometimes we had to make our own learnings, like our own mistakes, and so. But on the other side, we discovered things.
Exactly.
I would say it's really a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
What we are. I think there is a problem in when you just open a book, it's already there. You have to go through some things, or we were laughing because we wanted to make something, and it's actually some basic knowledge in Raku-firing, but we used like 1 month to find out what it is, how could it be, and we found it out and developed some own ways and different ways how you can get to the same result. And we bought one book, and the first page was written, you just do it like this and this. And I think it's also a nice way of learning. It's more, you learn it, but you want to know it, you want to go deeper than just, when you read something, just read it. You don't actually know it, how it's written and how the sentence works, but not what's behind the things. And I think we are not afraid to learn this particular way.
No, and especially we often have also like interns applying, and they are interested most of the time in the Raku technique, and they can then also experiment here, and they can see the way we're doing it. But often they bring something with them and their own knowledge, which is often also for us quite interesting. Like we're not doing so much pottery and like really throwing vases or cups. And then, but if someone is coming with these skills, we're very we like to then get into the dialogue. And so and actually ceramic is like it's immensely big. Yes, the possibilities, and it's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous how big the possibilities are, and how with every little thing you change, it opens a whole universe. So I think it's something you can never really completely know.
You can never know it, because it's also so many different parameters which, when they change, it comes out completely different. We have one friend of ours is a glazing specialist. He's doing this for, I don't know, his whole life. And when we ask him, he very often says, "Man, I have no idea. You just have to try it."
No, because we're doing Raku.
Yes.
Yes. Because he's used to do glazes for the industry, very precise. But he even says there, it's it's only to a certain degree, and that's the reason why the industry always has to produce lots of square meters to have always the same result, because they won't get it.
Exactly. You're working with resources which come out of the earth, and the purity of this is also in a tolerance.
Yeah.
And if you add 7 different resources which all have different tolerances, you have a complete different result.
Yeah.
If you have another batch it's the same like with wine. You have the same grapes, the same technique, but you will never have the same wine taste.
For the end, I have one personal question as well. Do you think that in our age of ongoing digitalization, human need things, objects, like you do tiles, they need things which are handmade anymore?
Yes.
I think definitely. Is the question, for me, it's like the question, do you think that people still need love when we have a computer that can give you everything? I think we are still humans, and we are not machines, and I think sometimes it feels like we lost the way why to make machines.
Yeah.
And also the worth of a thing doesn't matter what it is. It's very often gets a different verse when it's made by a person, because it also has this personal feel to it. And we are the unrational people. People are unrational in these things. I mean, Elvis guitar, I don't know how much it's worth, because it was Elvis guitar, but it's crazy that people even have a feeling. For you it might be a normal guitar, but this is a thing. We are not machines. We don't think factually, and we don't have the I don't know, measurements, you know, always. Yes. Like, oh, I take a chart and look if this is good or not. It's a feeling.
Yeah, but yeah, and I think, but also it has like a lot. For me, it has a lot to do with the resolution. It's like you just like in the analog resolution is basically infinite. It's like there is and in digital, it's just like you will. Yeah, maybe let's talk in 500 years when the computers are able to have like a resolution compared to the universe, like put the whole universe into a computer. But that's actually, yeah, it's not possible.
Maybe we evolve to another species that we are not yet, when we have this more technology behind us, and maybe we don't need these things anymore. But for now, I cannot.
It's like thinking, like, I don't know, if you like to go through the woods or like to go hiking to calm yourself, and I don't believe that you're able to do this like in the metaverse. Mm-hmm. No matter how nice it looks. Mm-hmm. It's just like there are so many subtleties in this experience of like how the air smells, how the wind is touching your sweaty face, and so this is all like this is a real experience. Mm-hmm. And I think this is something you cannot digitize for a very long time.
Exactly.
At least. Yeah.
And also, it's I don't know. I very often think also the numbing down that doesn't mean the same thing. It's the same if you feel anxiety or things like that. Here, take this pill and you won't have it anymore. You have this pill, you are happy. You are. I don't know if this can be ever the same thing than the experience. But it's for me, it's a very easy way. It's an easy way out. I don't know if we eating is very time costly, so we just inject food directly into the stomach. It can be very.
It could be functional. It could be functional, but
it's functional. You have a much more effective life, but it's I don't know. The adventure is in this. Adventure that things can go wrong, or every relationship depends on this. If it's said this is 100%, this will happen, this.
Exactly.
You can get thrown in a way, you know.
And I think nobody said. Hopefully nobody says in his deathbed the last words. Great, everything worked like planned.
Yes.
Thank you very much for being at the Tiles Festival. It was a great pleasure to have you here.